You're like, if this was like on a spaceship, you would think it would be like that. Look at that. If that was on a spaceship, etched into the side of the spaceship, you'd be like, holy shit, it's a fucking alien language. Look, I mean, I don't know what any of those things are. I don't know what one of those numbers is. I don't know what the fuck those words are, those letters. That's an alien language. That's, to me, almost more alien than a lot of Asian languages. That looks crazy.
Well, that's a reason to kind of doubt that somebody's translating it right. You know, like it's just like, oh, you looked at that gibberish and you saw that.
Well, scholars, you know, the whole thing with that is that these ancient languages, like all these stories came from these ancient languages. Like if you go way, way, way back to like ancient Sumer, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, there's all these Noah's Ark similarities. It's all there's a lot of stuff in all these ancient stories. It's all probably points to some real shit that happened.
For sure.
But along the way, just like what you're talking about with social justice warriors and how they behave like it's a religion, there's like a natural compulsion for people to be on a group and have that group have a very clear ideology.
People have to work their way up to atheism if they want it, because that's like almost a luxury, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I don't know how to just, but I'll tell you what, I will say the DMT shit, I did get like more of a, oh yeah, there's more than this.
There's something else there.
And it's crazy because when you know, I read about that shit in high school. I read some article about that guy that is the big DMT guy,
Terrence McKenna.
Yeah, because I think he projects a lot of his own horseshit into it, but. That stuff
that McKenna does, or the
McKenna just let me tell you, when I never felt a thing that felt so much like not making me hallucinate, but like it was taking away a hallucination.
Yes.
And that is there's something so terrifying about that, but it's also like, wow, that's great. Like, and you feel like there has to be, just based on the shit you would see, even if it's just shit in your head, you're like, why would that even be in my head?
It's entirely possible that whatever the fuck consciousness is can pass from this stage into another stage. And the only reason why I would hesitate to say that's exactly what happens is because there's no proof one way or another. But it's
all that pineal gland shit is not proven. They don't know that DMT comes.
I can't handle any more.
They do now. Yeah, they do now.
Really?
The Cottonwood Research Foundation. They did a series of tests with rats, and they proved that live rats have DMT produced by the pineal gland.
Really?
Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that humans do too, but they're pretty sure they do.
Did you like?
They also know that your lungs produce it and your liver produces it. That's a fact.
Really?
So your body's producing DMT, 100%.
Did you know that? Or did you like those H.P. Lovecraft kind of horror stories?
Oh, I love those things.
And there's a movie made out of one of them. It's all about his pineal gland. He's taking something that makes his pineal gland swell up.
Which one is that? What movie is that?
It stars the guy from Reanimator, but it's not. It's not Reanimator.
I'm feeling it now. I kind of remember what you're talking about.
But I'll tell you the thing of DMT is the creep. I thought the creepy because it's totally worth doing. But the thing that's, you know, whatever people say they meet entities, right? But I don't know if that shit is meeting entity. But I'll tell you the thing that just sticks with me that I'm like, how in the fuck is that possible? Is the shapes that I could see, where I was well aware that they were a bit more than 3-dimensional shapes. And it's so crazy to look at that and perceive it. And I'm like, how on earth could I perceive this shape? And when I can't, and you can't come back with it, like, you know what I mean?
Well, you know
like
how you see it though in someone's art? Like, have you ever seen Alex Gray's art?
Yeah,
you see
it's awesome.
No.
You haven't seen it?
No, what is that?
Pull up Alex Gray. He's a psychedelic artist. I mean, all of his stuff is basically tryptamine-based art.
And is it going to not be horseshit? Because sometimes they're horseshit.
No. He's brilliant. His stuff's fucking...
Because that is something.
His stuff's fucking amazing.
Yeah, that thing.
It's for Tool.
Yeah, but that's one of them. But yeah, he draws the covers for Tool albums. There's a ton of them, like that one. That one in specific. That is DMT.
That's very DMT.
That is DMT.
Wow, that is hardcore DMT.
Hardcore DMT. When you do DMT, you see that. And you see that in a way where it's so much more spectacular than anything you ever see under normal consciousness.
Is your body there? Like, are you
it's
like...
not a body thing. You're not thinking of
but
your eyes are closed.
I mean, I'm myself.
Yeah, you're yourself.
Like, you look around?
You're yourself,
dude,
but
if you open your eyes...
vulnerable.
Here's what's crazy. So if you close your eyes, it's like they're open somewhere else. And then when you open your eyes, you see reality overlaid over this.
Tell me this one didn't influence the Egyptians. Click on the one your cursor's on.
No,
tell me that didn't influence the Egyptians.
What, this painting or the?
No, that these kind of tryptamine
well, did they have that,
images.
Did they have DMT?
100%. Yeah, there was one of the things that John Anthony West did was he was going over the temple in Man.
Yeah.
The temple in Man is one of the structures. It's in Egypt. and it shows different parts of it are supposed to represent different corridors of the body, like different chakras of the body, and that there was some evidence that the eye of Horus is really the pineal gland.
Oh, really?
And that's what that symbol is. Like, see if Google pineal gland eye of Horus. They think that they're so similar in the way they're shaped. It's entirely possible that that's what it's a very alternative thing. But look how it looks, how the thing looks on the right, the actual pineal gland, and look at the eye on the left.
Whoa.
Yeah. See that wing off the side and the way it drops down right from the eyeball? Boy, that's fucking similar. It's entirely possible that they figured that out somewhere along the line, that through yogic breathing methods or some sort of psychedelic drugs they found that they were achieving a hallucinogenic state, and they were able to somehow or another isolate where that state is being initiated. And if it's being initiated endogenously by your body, like through psychedelic breathing, that's probably where it's being produced.
Now, listen, I don't want to sound like an Amy Schumer defender, but that looked coincidental to me.
Yeah, it could be.
Parallel thought.
It could
That
be.
look, I think certain patterns repeat
close.
over and over again.
But that pattern is pretty fucking close. You might be right. It might be coincidental. But the fact that a straight line drops down right before the eye showed again, the straight line drops down right below the eye.
But they didn't
and
know
then
what
the
the
other thing
fucking
hooks
rain
to the
did
left.
in Egypt. That's the
No,
thing.
they did surgery on people in Egypt.
Yeah, but
Let's see, look at the thing on the right.
First of all, I thought Egypt thought the mind was in the heart, and that's why they pulled the useless brain out through the nose when they mummified you. Like you're
How do
telling
we know
me
their intent? You know what I mean? Like, how do
because
we
the embalming techniques.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean they didn't respect the
stuff
brain.
you kept. No, they didn't. Look.
Well, I'm
look it
sure
up.
they didn't know everything about the human body the way
That's
people
what I'm
know
saying.
today.
Why would they attach significance to something in the brain if they don't think that's
Because
where...
I think through psychedelic drugs. I think when they were doing these heavy psychedelic drugs, which, by the way, were absolutely being used by then by tons of
that
cultures.
I could believe, but
Tons
that I
of
could believe.
cultures.
Listen, because this is the thing where that really blew my mind because I was looking.
You don't want to even believe rumors. That's what's going on again.
No, I looked. Do you ever look at somebody while you're on
won't be
DMT,
tripped
like you smoke
again.
it?
No, I've always kept my eyes closed.
Okay, well,
the
I
Who.
did that
I won't be
2 times,
fooled
close my
again.
eyes, and 1 time open my eyes and look at somebody, and they had 6 arms like a Hindu.
Yeah, somebody else
And
was just saying
I might have
this.
been telling you this at the comedy store.
You told me at the green room.
What
of
is
the belly
your
room.
time perception gets broken
Yeah.
down, and that's the craziness. And so then motion looks like sick,
Like
but it,
like Shiva.
it looked like a Hindu thing, and I'm like,
Yeah,
wow. I
that's
imagine
where it
being on that
comes from.
stuff, and you see
Yeah.
something. I mean, it looked that looked to me so much like a vision from DMT.
Yeah.
Those 6-arm kind of gods.
Well, dude, I collect that kind of art, like Buddhas and shit like that, like this kind of shit, because I saw this. I saw this image, this
Yeah.
exact image. I mean, this has a third eye and everything. A
Right.
sculptor made this for me. I don't remember homeboy's
Really?
name. Yeah, I wish I could remember it right now, but I don't. But yeah, sculptor made that for me based on this vision that I had high on DMT. I saw an infinite number of those.
Really?
I saw one hovering here, and then in every direction out from him, there was an infinite number of those, and they were all hovering and vibrating around me.
So it's like
Wow.
fractal. Is it like fractal?
Oh, it's 100% fractal.
What do you
it's
think-
geometric.
What do you think? What do you think? Having done it, like, what do you think? Like, what do you think now of DMT after? You know, I think I saw just a couple things, but I don't know how long ago they were of you talking about it with people. But what's your opinion of it now? As like, you know, what you're seeing.
Well, it could be anything. I mean,
Yeah.
it definitely could be some sort of an insane hijacking of your sensory nervous system, and
Right.
it produces this spectacular psychedelic effect that's so profound, this hallucinogenic effect that's so profound that it literally is like a transcendent experience and changes your life. It's
It
totally
felt like
possible.
that to me.
It's totally possible that it's just a chemical thing. What's also
But that
possible,
also-
what's also
yeah.
possible is that life itself, that whatever
Yeah.
the fuck life is, and especially whatever the fuck intelligent life is not understood. What consciousness is not understood. And this idea that things can only exist in this realm, that's not proven. Also the fact that when those quantum physicist guys start breaking down the nature of reality and they come up with, I don't know how the fuck they do this, I'm just talking out of my ass, but they come up with the idea that there's 11 dimensions.
Right.
And that they literally, I mean, and this is all changing and constantly evolving and moving, and they're constantly adding to this. It is entirely possible that there's a bunch of other shit that's around us all the time that's just not here, and we
Yeah,
don't
of
have
course.
access to it. And when you do DMT, whomp, you go into that other place.
That's
It's
what's so
entirely
fucking
possible.
unsettling, dude. It's like, it's not like you're going, it's like the shit's here.
Well,
And-
that's why you, as
Yeah.
a skeptic, it's very important to hear from you. Like a guy like you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Because I drew a shitty diagram of it, but this is what I felt. This is what it feels like if you ever do it. Like this little point. Let's say this little point is you. This is what I felt like. And these lines I drew, that's like space, and you're this little point that gets stabbed into space time, and all this shit. This is all the shit that makes you. Like, it forms a point. It's like closing your eyes and looking at all of the shit
all
that's
the
being
cross section of your being.
Like everything being focused into making. If you could like just reverse look at it,
dude,
it feels like that.
I always feel like it's lessons. I always feel like it's lessons. I always feel like it's time to go to school. Sit down. Here's what's going on. One of the last ones, more profound ones, was a bunch of jesters that were all giving me the finger.
Really?
They were all circling around me like, give me the finger.
They're like who named you?
That was Twitter.
Police?
No, you know
I'm trying
what?
to teach you about Twitter.
It's teaching if you're tense, and if you're reacting negatively to this jester giving you the finger. Like, how do you feel of yourself? Are you in a constant defensive mode? And then when I sort of relaxed myself, they started wagging their finger back and forth like, yep, that's it. That's it.
That's cool.
It was very, very strange. These things that you see but you can't define are constantly changing. So if you try to like say, oh, it looked like a jester, it probably did for a few seconds. For a few seconds, it looked like a jester, and then it imploded and became stars, and then it sucked in and became geometric patterns, and then became neon-colored worms that were making love to each other in a giant infinite bundle of yarn. Like, it becomes weirder and weirder shit all the time.
Is it hard to remember when you're done?
It's almost impossible. Even me saying it, I'm kind of full of shit.
I'm kind of
full of shit because I don't totally remember what I saw. I remember what I remember to write down. I remember what I repeated. So I'm like going back on like my repeated versions of what I saw. But I remember like flashes of the intense, profound nature of the experience.
Is there emotions to it? Like it's unraveling.
Dude. And when I came out of it the first time, this was on New Year's the first time I did it. And I fucking, I guess I was like weeping. But when I came out of it, because you just suddenly are awake, and I had like, but I was so out of it, it was like not, I went from weeping to like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, and because I'd been staring at some crazy thing that would like look so beautiful to me. But it was like that, it was like coming out of a dream, I guess, almost.
What's that McKenna quote that I think what I'd be scared of is unearned wisdom? I think McKenna said something like, be wary of unearned wisdom, where I don't know if I can handle looking at something that intense.
I was really in a low feeling state when I did it, and I didn't give a fuck, so I wanted to do it.
You pick up the slack. You know, that unearned wisdom thing, I think I know what he's saying, and I think there's a real problem with people acting profound when they just learned something an hour ago.
Are you saying I'm not a shaman?
No. But
I'm not a qualified shaman
There's
now?
a thing that people enjoy doing, and it's like jizzing out their knowledge.
Yeah.
You know?
Jizz?
And a lot of that is unearned knowledge. Like, there's a lot of people that don't really have a full, including me. I've done it many times.
My mind balls are so full.
Not having a full understanding of the topic at hand.
Life
and
jizz.
you just jizz it out.
Yeah,
jizz it, man.
But you look, for sure, you learn a lot about yourself when you do those experiences. I learned a lot about myself. Learned a lot about how I interact with people. I saw negative thoughts like expressed as like this dark green and black, like twisted sort of pattern. And then when my thoughts went positive, it blossomed like the most beautiful flowers you can imagine. It was crazy. It was literally a lesson in thinking toxically. And then, and this is probably like 2008-ish, somewhere around then. That was this particular experience that literally changed who I am. Literally changed how I talk to people, literally changed how I feel about people.
Yeah.
Watching a negative thought being expressed as this dark pattern, and then the positive thought, I just let it go like, oh, I see, I'm doing it to myself, and then boom.
Right, yeah.
And then you just relax and enjoy, like, this is so beautiful, and because you're looking at something so beautiful, that feeling of seeing beauty makes it more beautiful, and it's just getting more, and like tears are rolling down my eyes. It was a stunning experience.
Dude, honest to God, it's easier to do that now besides that, but I know what you mean. Like,
I wish I could remember seeing
it,
though. I remember it happened, and I remember the dark green and black, but I remember so little of what I actually saw. It's a total recreation in my mind.
Yeah.
Which is a real problem with memory. It's a real problem with regular memory. Forget about something as spectacularly unique and odd as a psychedelic experience. But just regular memory. I mean, I try to think of what I did yesterday. I know what I did.
Did you ever get the information like the last time I did it, this is what really blew me away is because my girlfriend was saying I was going, I won't forget. And by the way, I forgot immediately.
It's like a joke. When you
course,
think of
yeah.
a joke,
And then-
you have
yeah.
to write it down.
You're
And then-
supposed to talk into a microphone, like talk into a recorder, like right away when you get out, and then try to decipher that.
Mostly, I feel like I can't talk. I mean,
Yeah.
usually I feel like I can't talk. But
As soon as you can, though, what you should do is just use the voice app on your phone, and as soon as you can talk, hit record and just ramble. First of all, you're gonna go, "Oh my god, I'm a fucking moron," because it's
Yeah.
gonna sound. If you're sober, it's gonna sound so stupid.
Dude, that's my favorite. Like ayahuasca, it's an inner journey and better. Like, yeah, on the inside. On the outside, you're just puking and projectile shit.
Yeah.
Gibbering like an idiot.
That's a metaphor for
Did you see the guy from Empire's speech, like interview?
Yes, yes, yes.
Like that seems
Terrence-
almost like he's not pretending. Like if he's pretending, he's doing a better job acting than Joaquin Phoenix.
What is
did.
his
Terrence Howard, yeah, he saw
Howard.
the Flower of Life or
well,
something.
Terrence Howard, the guy who interviewed me for Rolling Stone, told me that Terrence Howard is like a legitimate genius. Like he's like, you talk to the guy is absolutely brilliant.
Maybe he figured it all out.
I think he got high as fuck on DMT. That's what it sounds like. He's talking about
Figured it all
flowers
out.
and-
Yeah, it does sound like that, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it all makes sense. Like but the inability to explain it, just kind of like it's all connected.
But he was not explaining it very well, but very articulately. Like he was using, it wasn't like nonsense talk.
Right.
He was like, oh, this is like shockingly coherent for a ridiculous thing to say.
You ever have Shane on to talk about what happened to him?
Shane, which one?
Shane Moss.
No.
He did. I think.
Oh yeah, no, I've had him on.
mushrooms.
I had him on back. You which what happened to him though?
I think he did mushrooms every day for a month, or DMT every day for a month, and he also covered himself in I'm getting the terms wrong, but maybe Syrian rue, so the shit couldn't come out of his system.
What?
And he went a little bit nutty.
How long ago was this?
Maybe a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay. So I had him
Year
on
ago.
before that. I had him on before that.
So we went to see Roger Waters. He got tickets for me in Providence. We went down there, and he was like talking like he was like, I figured out these math equations, and he was like the whole time he was like, dude, I know, I'm a science guy. I get this seems ridiculous. I understand why you wouldn't believe me, but I can like figure shit out to the point where mathematicians are like, I never thought of it that way. He's like, I don't understand how it's possible, but I get why you wouldn't believe that. Yeah, he was like, you know, when you're coming out of a mushroom trip for like 30, 40 minutes, you're like not quite coherent because you got a foot in there and a foot out here.
Yeah.
He was like that for hours, and I guess for like months. Yeah. He was just in a constant state of coming out of a mushroom trip.
I did DMT 3 times in a day.
Wow.
And the third time, it was a really strong one. And it fucked me up for a while. I don't remember how long afterwards, but this was during the Fear Factor days. But I remember reality, the way I described it, the reality was very slippery.
Yeah.
Very slippery. Like I kept thinking that cars were going to fly over the incoming lane and crash into my car and kill me.
Oh, real slippery.
Yeah, I kept thinking like be really careful. But then I realized that what that is like my ego trying to protect me by making me aware of imminent threats and trying to reestablish its position as in the chain of command. Because like one of the things about really extreme psychedelic experiences that they dissolve the ego to the point where you realize like you don't really matter. Like you're a part of some crazy system, and the only reason why you think you really matter is because your biology wants to stay alive, because there's these inherent existential threats to your existence that have always existed throughout time. And you know, ultimately though, it doesn't matter because you're just going to live and die and probably live again and die again, and this is like this never-ending cycle. Yeah, and you're part of some.
One of those guys said,
thing.
anytime you're like fighting it, like you're just like, it just means you haven't taken it enough. I think that was like Terrence McKenna or one of those guys was like, you just have to take more and then you can't fight it.
Right,
and then
right,
you're
right.
just gone, you know?
Yeah, but I was fucked up for a while.
Really?
But I was functional. I was real nervous and weirded out by things.
How long? How long?
Weeks, maybe months.
Why'd you do it 3 times in a day? Were you trying to do that on purpose, or were you just
I did
like
it.
bored?
The first time was light. I went in, but I didn't go in too deep.
Yeah.
But I saw the visuals, and I lay there, and I was like, I got to the door, and I could see through the windows of the house, but I didn't go inside. The second time, it just like opened up a fucking vortex and sucked me through to the center of the universe. And then it was really, really, really intense. And then I did it again after that. It's because I loved it, because it was so awesome. I wanted to do it one more time.
I gotta do it more. I guess
They
not
make
for a
those
month.
vape pens.
Yeah.
That's what we should do on November 1st.
Vape pens.
Yeah, we should do DMT.
In the morning?
Here. Yeah, in here.
You're going to be in New York.
Oh yeah. Well, as soon as we get back.
Come to my apartment.
Okay.
We'll do it there.
Yeah.
But like, I'm interested as well with this. I keep bringing up the subject of DMT. Like, what? I guess what I want to know about is like, because I'm, you know, obviously a person in recovery. I don't drink, I don't take drugs, haven't done for a long time, and I recognise for certain people that they can't do it safely. Psychedelics and hallucinogens seem to me exist in a realm outside of that because they're not pleasure seeking. Right. They're like, seem to me like it's a spiritual portal. However, I'm a crafty bastard when it comes to this stuff, and I'm always looking for an in. You know, when I see your cannabis treasure trove over there, I mean, that is some, yeah, as you said, like Raiders of the Lost Ark stuff, and I'm holding in my hand now the CBD rich cannabis soft gels, clasping it, you know, so like I'm
So you're worried that is a gateway, that CBD, which is not necessarily psychoactive?
As long as it's not psychoactive.
It's not, but it does help you with anxiety. It helps a lot of people because it alleviates a lot of inflammation, which tends to have a corresponding impact on your anxiety.
Hold on. So this says here 11 milligrams of THC. Does that mean?
It says THC.
It does say that at the bottom.
It's probably a 1-to-1.
Is this a 1-to-1?
Might be, or it's like an 18-to-1.
Or 11. It says there's an 11 and a 1.
There's a couple different ones in that box.
Oh, I almost gave you the wrong one.
Joe, what's next?
Glad you read.
A bag of smack.
Don't take that.
This one goes
Don't
back
take
in.
this one. This one's way more powerful. That's
Really?
1-to-1. Yeah.
Well, you seem very relaxed and free from anxiety.
Feel great.
I will say that. But like, so like. What I suppose I'm interested in, because look, listen, I'm meditating I meditate a lot. I'm doing all these things. I'm experiencing transcendent states. I'm experiencing what it's like to not feel attached to my identity as Russell. Who are you before you are Russell? Who are you before you identify yourself as a man in England? Who are you? Who is the person? Who is the consciousness? Who is the awareness? Now, when I listen to, say, Terence McKenna talking about his experiences in psychedelia at such length and with such lucidity and with so many philosophical connotations, and the way that he uses the information he's getting from hallucinogenic experiences to speculate on how we should organise society, what the implications are for freedom, his refusal to accept that there are certain kind of experiences that should be prohibited, that it's ridiculous that adults should be prevented from having that. I'm fascinated, but I'm also, I suppose, part of my bias is I love anything that gets me out of my head. I feel a tremendous sense of relief, whether it's through meditation or even sport or sex, being relieved of the burden of the constantly thinking mind. But when I hear like those vivid descriptions of DMT realm or ayahuasca realm, I think something in me hungers for that, hungers for it.
Do you worry that you're trying to get intoxicated? You worry that you're trying to find a loophole?
Yeah, because I am doing that. I'm looking for a loophole. It's like I'm going around like a sort of a trash lawyer looking for some way that I could get into. Is there? Hold on a second. What about this clause?
Trash lawyer. That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, I mean, I know people that have problems with addiction that have done psychedelics and didn't have a problem. But I'm sure some people have had problems, and I don't know about them. DMT is interesting in that, first of all, it's very quick. The experience is only about 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. And it's not necessary, it's not an intoxicant in the way that you would think about traditionally. You are still you in the face of this experience. And I think it's some sort of a chemical gateway. That's what I think. I think there's a gateway in your mind that can lead to some other dimension that's probably there all the time.
If there is a omnipresent, continually existing realm that human beings aren't accessing because of the particular biochemical formulation of consciousness as it is in this point in our evolution, and that we can get there. And it seems as like, I've heard Terence McKenna say it's more real. It's more real. There's stuff in there.
Yes.
And excuse me. And when he talks about them beings, like that he describes as self-dribbling basketballs, creating like Fabergé egg, devices through vibration, and they're telling you to do it.
I never saw that.
I want that.
He's called them machine elves. He's called them all sorts of different things. The way I've described them is they're the geometric patterns made out of love and understanding. That's what they seem like.
So you can look at a geometrical pattern and read meaning into it. It had an emotional quality.
They're made out of something, and they move, they change. Like, they don't stay what they are. They're constantly evolving in front of you into something more and more beautiful. It's very weird.
What did it make you feel?
Like I knew nothing. That was the most profound aspect. Like all of this stuff that you concentrate on every day is nonsense. And there is some other thing that's connected that's probably influencing this world.
Yeah.
And it's probably what people see when they have near-death experiences, the depictions of the afterlife. I mean, that's probably what it all is.
And religious experiences.
Yeah.
And when prophets are talking about, oh my God, I went into this realm.
Sure.
There's these beings. They've told me we're all one. We have to love each other.
Scholars in Jerusalem are connecting Moses' experience with the burning bush to the acacia tree. The acacia tree, which is rich in DMT. The burning bush is what God was to Moses. And that through this burning bush, he came out with these 10 commandments of how people should live their lives. I mean, that easily could have been just a very convoluted sort of translation of a DMT trip.
Certainly. And also, when you think of, certainly there are archetypal images that seem to be repeated throughout ancient cultures and archaic stories that seem to refer to the potential for plant experiences to affect consciousness. Even the Garden of Eden, do not eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge, that otherwise you will become as gods. You know, like I sense that. Now, if there is some realm that we can reach through that experience that puts into perspective everything else we experience on the material realm, and that thing seems to, in your words, be emanating love and understanding while ever changing, completely formless and communicating love and understanding, I can't help but think that should become our priority, to have a relationship with that realm and to bring about that experience. I don't even mean in a literal way, because even Terence McKenna said there are some people, vulnerable souls, he was probably referring to people like me, that probably shouldn't mess around with that kind of stuff.
I think he was really talking about people with schizophrenia, or people which he believed he had, by the way.
Did he?
Yeah, he had some very unique perspectives on schizophrenia and the way people interact with the world itself. I think if we lived in a healthy world, a healthy civilization that had a healthy relationship with psychoactive substances, we'd probably have centers where you would have a legitimate shaman, a medical advisor, and someone would take you through a guided experience. We're doing that now with ketamine. There's a lot of people that are very depressed that are having these physician-controlled ketamine experiences that have had a profound effect on their depression. My friend Neil Brennan's gone through several of them, and he's a comedian, a very funny comedian. So when he was describing it, it was hilarious. And he's going to a doctor's office and tripping his fucking balls off. You know, and the doctor's shooting him up with intramuscular ketamine.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and he's having these insane... I go, so you're having psychedelic experiences? He's like, oh, yeah. The way he's describing it was really funny. I mean, tripping his fucking balls off in these whatever states that ketamine... I've never experienced ketamine. I don't know what it does. But it's apparently profoundly hallucinogenic. And you have these wild, crazy experiences on it. And for whatever reason, it has a great impact on depression for a lot of people. I think it's a perspective enhancer, but it also does something to rewire the mind.
Well, what some of this suggests is that mental illness is a response to our material conditions, whether that mental illness is schizophrenia, depression, or addiction. It's like people are going, oh, hang on a minute, this isn't how we're supposed to live. I took that ketamine one time towards the end of my using, and as usual, it's not in the right type of environment. You shouldn't be doing stuff like that in a nightclub. You need to be under that shamanic conditions, white coat guy or whatever, whoever you nominate as a shaman. But I felt like it was like going into a tunnel made of sound and like having to navigate. I was like, oh shit, I'm still in reality. What am I going to do? Is it as my sort of consciousness becomes a noise instead of a string of words and signs? How am I going to get out of this place? You know. So like for me, it's clear that drugs were never meant to be recreational. In fact, they never were. I was never, hey man, this is crazy. I was always like, I'm in fucking pain. I need some shit to help me out. Otherwise, I'm going to probably kill myself. You know. So like it was a way of holding that stuff at arm's length. So I guess my renewed curiosity around DMT and ayahuasca and other sort of plant medicines, and like do you know Daniel Pinchbeck and like them guys that are sort of part of that. I'm curious about it because I guess I'm continually trying to find a way where someone go, right, here's a way where we can do it where it's sort of safe. And I've heard of other people in recovery doing it. And when I think about what my motivation is when I hear people talking about and my own recollections of experiencing what felt like God, and by God I mean a sense of oneness, and that my individual identity isn't my real identity, and I'm connected to everything, and love is the most important thing. You know, I want a real experience of that, so that when I'm out in the world, I can remember when I'm driving or when I'm dealing with people, or if I'm buying something, or if I'm feeling inferior or feeling superior, that, like you said, this is bullshit. This is like a secondary reality. Don't let it govern you. You know, as someone that's been seduced by fame, a person like, oh, if I get this part in this film, then everyone's going to love me. Oh, if this stand-up set goes well, you know, like a person that's placed all of my well-being outside of myself, the certain knowledge that there is an inner connection that will take care of you, that's accessible. I guess I'm, you know, hungry to sort of feel it in a way that's like, oh my God, now there is no doubt. So in a sense, it's a crisis of faith, not a crisis of faith.
Psychedelic states that you could achieve without taking anything. I mean, you could certainly get there in a flotation tank. You could get there through holotropic breathing. I've never done Kundalini yoga, but apparently the people that get really deep into Kundalini yoga can literally have DMT trips.
Yes.
I know I have friends that have done DMT and have experienced DMT trips through Kundalini. Yeah. But you have to be really dedicated. I mean, there's a lot of time. A lot of time and a lot of energy, and you have to really understand the methods and follow them to a T, and you can achieve these altered states of consciousness that are apparently, you know, not from my personal experience, but from what people tell me, incredibly profound.
Yeah, I mean, I've had comparable things. I guess that what it's, you know, the difference between feeling something that's that overwhelming that gives you no choice. Yes. You know, like there's like, it's not like, you know, Kundalini, you've got to do these breaths correctly, you've got to sit there, you've got to try again.
Have you done it?
Yeah, I've done quite a bit of Kundalini. Well, what for me, it feels like what I felt quite a lot yogically and meditatively is a cessation of what I would call my individual consciousness. Like, oh, I'm not this. This isn't who I am. This is just a temporary experience. And all of the value systems of our world are built upon these primal drives in collaboration with a culture that likes to stratify people and manage people and operates like a massive farm where it's easier to keep people together operating in these kind of ways systemically. I've sort of felt rushes of that, like a certain wordless clarity, if you can imagine me having anything that was wordless even for a moment, and in that space, you know, there is great peace. So I suppose what's turning me on about the DMT and ayahuasca thing is that the way it's narrativized, that you're going to meet characters and stuff like that, and it's going to be plain and beyond doubt. You know, because I suppose what prophets do, you know, like whether it, you know, when a prophet returns from whether it's the burning bush or the cave, they come back and they say, all this stuff that you're taking seriously is not real. There's this other realm. Start prioritizing it, or you are going to live in hell on earth. You're going to be governed by your materialistic drives, your sexual drives, and it's going to imprison you. And it turns out that they're right. Yeah. And so, like, you know, I suppose what I'm after, because I'm partly, you know, on a super, like on one level, influenced by what you're doing and how you've created your own, like you created your own business and your own success, like this symbiosis of stand up and the podcast, and like it's become like a sort of a lifestyle brand in a sense, Joe. Like, you know, I'm sort of like, yeah, I don't want to be continually dragged into these like working within institutions. Like, you know, I'm over here doing doing Ballers, and I'm bloody glad to be over here doing Ballers and working with The Rock. And I've got a funny story about that if you want it. Okay. But like, you know, like really what interests me is like, can I dedicate my life to humorously communicating spiritual information and indeed starting to live it? So like, and I suppose what that would mean is, you know, I'm getting better. Like, I'm not a person who's obsessed with porn or sex or drugs or whatever, like, you know, to become it, to become what you actually are, to recognize that we're all different. Your perfect realization of you is going to involve hunting and all of these things that you've created through your gift. And that my perfect version of me is going to, you know, involve all of this. And not everyone needs to build sort of empires or entertainment industries or whatever, but all of us are on some journey to self-actualization and realization, as individual as our fingerprints and as natural as a seed turning into a tree. And if we don't have a way of accessing that, no wonder we're dissatisfied. No wonder there's an opioid epidemic. No wonder people are bored and angry and lonely.
Well, I think what you can do is be yourself, and what you can do is express yourself, and what you can do is constantly seek to improve and grow, and you are doing those things. So if you're saying, can I do these things, can I be comedic and spiritual, and well, you're doing it, right? So it can be done. So you're doing it. You know, it's all just a matter of what whether or not you're satisfied with your progress and where you are and who you are and how you express. More interesting stories out of the last decade or so was this story that I read about these scholars in Jerusalem that were connecting the story of Moses and the burning bush to the acacia bush and the acacia tree, which is rich in DMT. And they believe that, when you're talking about a story that was told through oral traditions for who knows how many years, and then written down in ancient Hebrew, and then transcribed and, and translated to Greek and Latin and all these, there's a lot lost in the mix. And they believed that what that story might have been about, of Moses coming down from Mount Sinai with the tablets and having the experience with meeting God in a burning bush, that what this is in fact was a dimethyltryptamine experience.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's a big maybe.
It's a big maybe. I can say that if you go to the south of Mexico in Chiapas, there's a tree that grows there as a weed called Mimosa hostilis. Maybe you're familiar with it. And this is so abundant that it's used to make fence posts. All the fences on the side of the road are made of Mimosa hostilis. It's used as firewood to cook meals. The air smells like DMT because people are using it as fuel all over the place. Not a single person that I spoke with was aware that it was psychoactive. And these are people that are burning it all the time.
Do they get high from it? Is there, like, if you were in a tent or something like that, and you were doing a hot box sort of scenario, would you get high from it?
No, I saw no. Would you? It maybe, it's about 2% DMT. So
you'd probably have to get so sick from, you'd be coughing. And
yeah, it would be even just smoking pure crystal DMT can be very difficult for some people. So my guess, not to be like a wet blanket, but my guess is not really. And that's a very strong source, as strong as maybe there's some acacias stronger, but that's certainly comparable. And that's something people are using to cook food all the time, and they're not aware that it's psychoactive.
So was there a way, or is there a way, for a person living thousands of years ago to somehow or another extract DMT from something like the acacia tree?
I actually spent some time thinking about that a while ago. It would be, first of all, it depends on how you define extraction. If it were to, in like an ayahuasca sense, like a tea, of course, yes. But then they would need some sort of enzyme inhibitor to create the ayahuasca. If it were to create an isolated smokable form, again, you could just do like an aqueous infusion and then dry that out and maybe smoke that. But in terms of like a real extraction that would produce crystals of DMT, I don't know what the non-polar solvent they would be using to extract the freebase would be, like butter or something. And then how would you get rid of the butter?
So what is the process? Like, if you're going to take a tree that's rich in DMT and extract DMT from it, what do you have to use?
Have you ever done it before?
No, I've never done it.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a very generalizable and simple process that applies to almost everything in chemistry. It's, sometimes it's called an acid-base extraction. Most people that are in the DMT community go something they call straight to base. And the idea is that the side chain of the DMT molecule contains a basic nitrogen that, if it's protonated in an acidic solution, then it's water soluble. And if it's deprotonated, then it's only soluble in a nonpolar solvent. So what you do is you just deprotonate the nitrogen with a base, potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide typically, and then treat that aqueous basic solution with a nonpolar solvent like naphtha, and isolate the naphtha, dry it out, and you have your material. And that applies to everything. That's not a DMT specific process, but that's what people do. Everything with a basic nitrogen.
Now, what's the earliest history of extraction?
Well, the first wave of DMT use in the United States was all synthetic. In fact, DMT was discovered synthetically before it was ever found in nature. The same is true of 5-MeO-DMT.
How did they do that?
There was a Canadian chemist named Richard Helmuth Mansky who I believe was looking at different alkaloids in strawberry plants, and he was synthesizing references for these potential strawberry alkaloids and made DMT. So he didn't know what he had made other than a potential natural product found in strawberries. And then it wasn't until Zara, much later, conducted self-experiments with injected DMT that people became fully aware of its psychoactivity, and then people started finding it in plants. I mean, the 1950s were like and early 60s were, of course, a fascinating time in psychedelic research because you have these convergences of these amazing ideas. First, you have the discovery of serotonin, which is like, we take this for granted. Now it's in television commercials, but this was, of course, something that no one knew about. And suddenly they're finding this in all kinds of different animals. Initially, it was in the salivary glands of squid and in different animals. And then they're finding it in the human intestine. Then they're also finding that all of these plants that people worshipped in various indigenous societies also contain serotonin-like molecules. Then they discover LSD and find that that's maybe the most potent known pharmacological agent at that time. And it binds to serotonin receptors. It activates a serotonin type response in isolated tissue. So there's like this weird triple convergence of information. Super potent, amazing compound LSD is discovered. Serotonin is discovered in all these different organisms, and there's a pharmacological convergence between the two of them. And then you have all these people worshiping serotonin-like molecules. So there was, a lot of enthusiasm at that time to figure all of this out.
So in terms of history, so we're talking about like somewhere in the 1950s, they started extracting DMT. The use of it orally dates back far longer than that because of use of MAO inhibitors and creating ayahuasca. But in terms of the first extraction, we can kind of
From
isolate.
plants to smoke?
Yeah.
It might have been even later. It might have been in the 80s.
Okay. So the idea that people thousands of years ago were able to do something along those lines is probably not accurate. Because they're talking about a burning bush. That's why it's appealing to people, right? The idea of Moses. Do you think that maybe the understanding of synthesis from synthesizing this from these scholars, maybe they don't have enough of an understanding of chemistry?
Well, what would be really interesting is to do an experiment to see what were the materials that were available. How would this have been done? Would you have to use butter as your nonpolar solvent? How well would that work? What would your butter preparation be done? Would you take it rectally then? Is that how it would work? I mean, you have to kind of, what would your base have been?
Well, I think they were talking about it being something burning, right? A burning bush. Maybe it's just one of those things that sort of gets conflated, right? Because you have people today that are very aware that people smoke DMT and have these incredibly intense religious psychedelic experiences. And then maybe they looked at the acacia bush and said, oh, the acacia bush is rich in DMT. That's probably where the Moses story came from.
Right. Well, what's really interesting is, DMT has never been found in the human brain, even though Rick Strassman says that it has been. So a lot of people are constantly assigning altered states of consciousness to DMT, but we can have these states without DMT. I mean, maybe it's never been found in the human brain, but also there's ethical and experimental issues with sampling fluid from a living human's brain.
Right, but they have found it in living rats, right?
Yes,
this is fairly recently.
Yes,
this is the Cottonwood Research Foundation. That's their attempt is to try to prove that the pineal gland is a source for DMT. We know that DMT exists in the human body. We know that the liver produces it, and we know that the lungs produce it.
Yeah.
We're not totally aware of whether or not there's anecdotal evidence that points to the pineal gland.
Based on the rat idea and based on the presence of certain enzymes that could be responsible for it. But even if it is, then what? There's still a whole question of how is it released, how is it distributed, what receptors does it activate, and is it even necessary as an explanation for altered states of consciousness? Because there are other things in the brain other than DMT. DMT has never even been found in the brain, but there are other things. You have endogenous proteins that bind to the kappa opioid receptor, the same receptor that is responsible for the effect of salvia. Things like that, they could be responsible. I mean, even carbon dioxide itself can induce a pretty strong altered state of consciousness.
Right, which is why people like those psychedelic breathing exercises.
Yeah.
They're sort of, is it like hypoxic? Is that what it is? What are they doing when they have those, what is it called? There's a type of breathing exercise that induces psychedelic states.
Holotropic breath work.
Yeah, and that is the idea behind that, right? It increases the amount of carbon dioxide in your blood.
I haven't seen a mechanistic explanation.
Yeah, I think that was
But it would make sense. In an early LSD psychotherapy, one of the things that they would do before giving someone LSD is they'd give them something called carbogen, which was a gas that contained carbon dioxide, and they would look at their response to the carbon dioxide inhalation. And if it induced a panic response, they would say, maybe you're not psychologically ready for this LSD experience. So that was, you're talking about a test. I mean, that was a very primitive early test that was used by psychiatrists to see if people had the psychological fortitude to withstand the experience.
Did you have a dumb moment?
I had a lot of insights. I don't know if I did actually.
How many different trips did you have while you were doing
I
this?
had 6 or 7. I did two psilocybin trips, one guided, one not, an LSD trip guided, a couple ayahuasca circles, and then I had a really weird psychedelic called 5-MeO DMT, which is the smoked venom of the Sonoran desert toad. Who figured that out? Should get some kind of prize.
That's a pretty potent one.
Very potent, and thank God, short-acting. Short-lived. It was actually a horrible experience. That was my worst. Yeah,
I had a great experience on
You
it.
did?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what was wrong with it?
So you take like one puff, and before you exhale, there's a synthetic version too, right? I was taking the venom. You're shot out of a cannon. There's no lead up. It's no warm up. It's like, boom. And I felt like I was actually like strapped to the outside of a rocket, going through space and through clouds, and like the G-forces pulling down my cheeks. And it was just this mental storm without nothing to orient myself. There was no space. There was no time. There was no self. And it was just unendurable, this punishing roar in my ears. And someone who had done it said eventually it's like a takeoff and you get into orbit, and it's very nice at that point. But what happened with me is I had the storm. I mean, I felt like it was like the metaphor I use in the book is like, I said, I can't explain this. You can't tell a story without place, time, and character, right? I had none of those.
Right.
It was just this inchoate energy. And I said it was like before the Big Bang. You remember that? Well, obviously nobody does.
Yeah.
But there was pure energy and no matter yet and no time yet. I mean, that's where I was. And it was horrible. It was terrifying. And I thought I was dying. But then you come down as kind of a suborbital flight. And then I started coming down. And suddenly I could feel, I got a body. I was touching my legs. I have a body. And like, there's a floor. There's space. And then there's time, and the universe kind of reconsolidated, and I had this feeling of incredible gratitude.
Yeah.
Not just for being alive, which all of us have had at one point or another, but that anything existed. I was grateful for the fact that there is something and not nothing, because I'd seen what nothing was like. And so in that sense, it ended up kind of positive, but you wouldn't want to go there to have that experience. So subsequently, somebody said to me, a very experienced psychonaut who I was telling this story to, he said, you didn't have enough.
That's what I was just going to tell you.
Really?
Yeah, because you only took one hit. You usually take 3. You take 3, and the rocket ride leads you somewhere. It takes you to the center of the universe.
You take 3, 3, 3?
Three in a row. 3 in a row. Take
the
a
same
big
time.
one, blow it out. Take a big one, blow it out. Take a big one, and as you're taking the third one, you're already seeing the world crystallize in front of you. It already starts turning into geometric patterns. You put the pipe down, lay back in the chair, and you just shoot off to the center of the universe. The terrifying thing is you cease to exist. Like it's the one drug that I've ever taken where you're not there anymore. Yeah. Even N-dimethyltryptamine, which is the difference between 5-methoxy-dimethyltryptamine is just an oxygen molecule attached to it. But N-dimethyltryptamine is incredibly visually stimulating. 5-methoxy is not.
Yeah.
It's just white.
It was white. It was definitely. I don't know how I could have taken 3 hits because I hadn't exhaled the first one when I was gone.
I don't know what you're. I only did the synthetic version of it. You're doing this frog
And the person
version.
I know who did the synthetic version had a very different experience, and they felt like they were installed in the firmament as this happy star. But I didn't get there, so who knows? I did something wrong. Okay.
I don't think you did. I just think you had a different experience. And I mean, obviously, there's got to be some sort of chemical difference. I mean, you're probably getting other things in that frog venom as well as pure DMT.
That's right. That may be it.
Yeah. I mean, I
don't know the answer to that.
It's fucking frog spit. I mean, do you
By
know
the
how
way,
they
no
get
harms.
it, too?
No frogs were harmed in the making of this
Well,
drug.
It's excreted on the outside of their
Right.
body, and what most people
You can
do
milk
is
them.
Yeah, you rub them on a glass and then let it dry off, and then you scrape it
That's
off
right.
the glass and
It
then
crystallizes.
you smoke it.
Yeah. I
Good
heard
luck
you
with
just
all
kind of
that.
squeeze them, and then it sprays the glass, and overnight it turns into, it looks like brown sugar.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. You're the first person who knows anything about it who
We
has
used to be
interviewed
able to
me.
buy it. Used to be able to buy
It was legal till
I bought
recently,
a fucking
2011.
jug of this shit.
Oh, my God.
Offline. I bought it from some company, American Chemical Company or something, and they send it to you. And I had enough to get the entire state of California high for several days because it doesn't take much.
It doesn't.
But it's not something you want to do very often. It's
And I
one-
don't think it has the same kind of healing properties because you're not bringing back information that's
Oh,
usable.
I brought back a lot.
You did?
Yeah, I brought back a lot about myself. And one of the things that I realized, like as I recorded, what I would do is post trip, I'd hit a tape recorder right when I became conscious again and start talking about the experience. And what I remember saying about the 5-methoxy DMT experience is like, as I'm trying to recount what happened, I feel my ego trying to retake hold of the situation and even use words in a way that might impress you with my ability to describe things. Or as you know, as a professional comedian too, I was aware that like a lot of what you're doing, you're saying things in a way that's pleasing to people so that they get excited about hearing you talk.
yeah.
And I was very aware of that while I was doing that. I'm saying I'm trying to explain things that are not possible to explain because the words that we're using were all invented for a world that doesn't exist in the DMT dimension. And as once you break through, it is so profoundly alien that any words
And liberating?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in a way, I mean, it may be really truly realize that we are in a soup of atoms. And that it's not, there's not like Michael Pollan, Joe Rogan, and Jamie Vernon in a room. Here's a wood table. There's oxygen between us.
Right.
No, we're in a universal stew of
diffused.
particles. Yeah, and it breaks those particles down, or at least it gives you a view into that, and you cease to exist, which is the most bizarre thing because it's so similar to N-dimethyltryptamine chemically, but so different in
experience.
the fact that you're not there while you're doing regular like N-dimethyltryptamine, which is the active ingredient in ayahuasca. Have you done that, the pure version of it?
No, not the pure version.
The pure version is like a very short, much more intense ayahuasca experience. I've never done ayahuasca. I've only done the DMT version. But
by injection or
no smoking it. But what you get out of it is you're there while this is happening, and you're just blown away, and you're like, I can't
that's true in
believe what I'm
ayahuasca,
seeing.
too. You're
And
present.
but there's all these entities that are trying to calm you down. Relax, take it in, settle down. They're all trying to calm you down and
That's
alleviate. Yeah, it's weird, and they're also fucking with you. Like they give you the finger. Like I had a bunch of jokers that were like dancing around me, giving me the finger.
Did you have machine elves too?
I don't believe in that thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Like McKenna had those experiences of machine elves. I saw it, what I described as complex geometric patterns that are made out of love and understanding. They seem to me to be like the building blocks of the soul all around you all the time.
Wow.
Like some just gigantic, impossibly large, infinite well of souls. Just these things dancing around you, and they were never one thing. They would be one thing for a second, and they change into something else, and then they change into something different. And the more profound the experiences got, the more profound the next one would be. And they kept saying, like, look at this.
Yeah.
But the words weren't real words. That's the other thing. It's like I'm saying the words, look at this. And I would have that in my head, but I never heard anybody say it. It was almost like it was triggering the concept of those words in my mind.
Right. It's pre or post linguistic, some of these experiences.
And
Scraping.
Topical CBD oil. Which is really good.
Is that legal?
Yes. CBD is illegal across the board.
Okay.
Non-psychoactive, but the FDA is trying to stop that.
Well, of course, follow the money.
Fuckheads. Yeah, those creeps.
Follow the money. It's a good explanation for just about everything.
Yeah, they're trying to put it in the same classification as heroin. It's hilarious. What? Yeah, it's so stupid. It's just 100% pharmaceutical drug
man-made
companies.
institutions of decision making.
Yep. Well, it's just creepy people with money that don't want to lose money to CBD oil because it's so much better for you and healthy and natural and does the exact same thing.
Imagine how much the drug companies would lose.
Yeah.
Or
gain if they started selling it. You fucks. They want to monopolize it. That's the problem. They want patents. They want to be able to patent things, That's like we were talking about before about the things that are in the Amazon. I mean, there's so many different plants that can deal with so many different ailments that people have. But
like ayahuasca.
Yeah, that's one of them. Sure. Have you done it?
I haven't, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Have you done any psychedelics?
No.
Nothing.
I've never done drugs ever.
No drugs. No pot?
Ever. Never. Nothing.
Are you scared?
No, my dad scared the living daylights out of me when I was a kid, and he told me that if I ever, he's like, you get tested for drugs and you fail, you won't ever be a race car driver. He told me that about drinking and driving too. If you lose your license, you won't be able to race, and then, what are you going to be when you grow up then? He threatened me with
Dad.
remedial jobs.
Jesus.
And so he scared the living daylights out of me. Truth be told, you can lose your license, still race. Also, truth be told, I didn't get drug tested until way later, but we do get drug tests.
You're running a drug farm.
Oh,
you sell wine. You're running a drug farm.
Well, kind of. I
That's
guess.
a drug farm, lady.
It's legal above 21.
It's 100% drug farm. It's wonderful, delicious tasting drugs.
It sure is.
You can get fucked up on wine.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that? That's drugs.
And addicted to drinking alcoholism.
100%.
Right?
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot of other things that you can do that are altering that aren't addictive, right?
You're running a plant-based drug farm. 100%.
Cash crops.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. You're a drug dealer.
Well, let's just go all the way. Well, if I was going to do something, what would be the first thing I would do?
Pot.
Oh.
For sure.
Okay.
Nice and light, real slow, don't take much.
What does that mean, don't take much?
Just take a little bit. You don't want to freak out.
Oh.
Like one of the major problems that people have when they first start smoking pot, they'll take like 2 or 3 hits. You can take one like, that's it, put it down. Right, Jamie? Yeah, Jamie will tell you.
Okay.
Little hit, walk away. Yeah, don't fuck with edibles. Leave those alone. Those you need to build up to those things. Those are
for
a completely different experience.
Experienced users.
Well, it's not just that. Even experienced users, they don't recognize the fact that it's a completely different psychoactive ingredient.
Oh.
Yeah. When THC...
It's not THC?
No. When it's processed by your liver, it produces 11-hydroxymetabolite, which is 4 to 5 times more psychoactive than THC. It's way more potent.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is why people freak out when they eat edibles. And they just don't...
Don't eat the whole brownie.
No. Just a couple crumbs, and then don't even think about having any more for at least 2 hours. Let it settle in.
Give yourself time.
Yeah.
Don't freak out after 15, 20 minutes and be like, it's not working.
Right. Don't do that. That's
kind of what I do
thing.
sometimes when I'm drinking. I'm like,
I'm sure.
Man, this is my 3rd drink. It just doesn't seem to be working. And then I hit it harder, and then I don't remember anything.
Then you
and
hit
I
the wall.
brown out or black out, whatever.
Yeah, drugs. You do drugs.
Yeah, actually, one of the first times I heard one of your podcasts, I think it was about DMT.
Yeah. That's the mother load. DMT is the psychoactive ingredient that's in ayahuasca. And
Right,
it's
right.
the most potent psychedelic.
Seems like a cleaner way to do it as opposed to ayahuasca, where you throw up and shit
Poop.
yourself.
Yeah. It's definitely probably. It's also quicker. Like the longest it's going to take is like 15 or 20 minutes. But there's some places that are doing it now where they're doing it intravenously. So those trips are apparently that was how they did it in. There's a book called DMT, the Spirit Molecule by this guy, Dr. Rick Strassman, who did all these studies out of the University of New Mexico. And they were the first FDA-approved clinical studies.
He did it with a group of people?
Yeah.
I think I saw something about that.
It was amazing, but they
were
did
in a hospital, and they did it intravenously.
Yeah, and they were gonzo for like 40 minutes, like, boom, off into the other dimension.
I was going to say, so other dimension, right? This dream state? Do you think it's like a dream state?
It's very similar because they believe that your brain during heavy REM sleep also produces DMT. And they think that's...
Because we all have it. We all have DMT.
Everybody has it. Yeah. Everybody
it's
has it.
It's naturally occurring in everyone.
Yes. It's produced by your liver, your lungs, and... Now they know it's also produced, at least in rats, by your pineal gland, which is literally your third eye. It actually, in certain reptiles, it actually has a retina and a lens. It is an eye.
I'm always trying to decalcify my pineal gland.
Is that real?
I don't know.
You get that from them crystal people in Sedona?
Hell yeah, I do.
Yeah, they say it's like fluoride. Fluoride's calcifying your pineal gland, man. Like, okay.
I did watch a cool
how's
thing.
it getting in there?
Yeah.
How's it getting through my mouth and through? Are you sure? Are you sure
Well, yeah,
fluoride's
it goes in
getting there?
everything. You are what you eat.
Yeah, sorta. But are you what you drink?
That
Are
too.
you wine?
Yes. Yes, I get better with age. Duh.
Yeah, I don't know if your pineal gland actually gets calcified by fluoride in drinking water.
Yeah.
That sounds like some hippie horse shit.
It does sound hippie horse shit. I'd like to see some scientific proof. But hey, man, with all the hippie shit, there's not a lot of scientific proof with it.
No, there's not.
It's a sense of knowing. That's what it comes down to, is a sense of knowing. Like, do you really feel like this is making sense to you? Does it register? Are you like, I don't know why I believe this, but I just do. I don't even know where it came from.
Now, speaking of smoking good stuff, how did you find out about DMT, and how did you get involved? Because I read something about you having these positive DMT experiences. I'm like, wow, how strange is it reading about, this massive bodybuilder now getting into psychedelic drugs?
Well,
and speaking openly about it.
Yeah, first time I did ayahuasca was in Brazil. I met my wife, who was outside. She lived in Brazil, so we went out to the Amazon. But this was like 10 years ago, So people weren't really, not like now. People know what ayahuasca is because there's so much information out there. Yourself talking about it, I'm talking about it. It's a ton of stuff on the internet. Wasn't so much then, but I heard about it. And I heard about it. It's a life-changing experience and all that stuff. So we were out in Brazil, and we got this guide, and I asked him for ayahuasca, and he's like, bring me these 2 bottles of brown stuff. I don't even know to this day if it was really ayahuasca, but I just got really sick and didn't see any great revelations apart from I got this thing in my head, stop poisoning yourself. But the night before, I'd been out drinking, getting drunk and everything. That was my experience with that. Then a friend of mine out here in California, actually, I knew about DMT. I used to live in Amsterdam, and I read the DMT spirit molecule and all that stuff, so I knew about it, but I had no idea to get this stuff or where you can get it from and everything. So a friend of mine got it, and that was my first experience of leaving the room, so to speak, and
leaving the planet.
And then since then I had some very positive ayahuasca experiences, but with a shaman, and doing properly and preparing 5 days of restricted diet and no sex and all these kind of things you do to prepare, and also afterwards. So DMT is blow the fucking doors off your perception and realize that this world we're in is it's nothing. It's just a little illusion, right? There's so much more outside of it. So there was that, but with the DMT, I think it's you got a computer with so much storage space, and you got it's 1,000 times more than you can retain. So you see all this stuff, and while you're there, you're like, ha, 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 I know everything. Oh, yes. But when you come back, how much of it can you hold on to,
Right.
So you've seen it, and that's makes you look at everything differently. But the ayahuasca is over hours. So I feel from the ayahuasca, I actually benefited more. It was like going through therapy or something, because it was much slower, and I could digest it,
Right.
So, but doing it with the shaman, I did it with a guy called Guillermo Avarello, and he's one of the top guys in the world from Peru. He comes to Spain a couple of times a year, so I did it with him. And it's probably, I don't know, it's probably 2 or 3 years since I did DMT, because I sat down one day and I said, right, actually I fasted for 2 days before, so I'd be just in the zone. And I said, right, I'm going to sit down. I got my DMT here. I got my vaporizer here. I'm going to fucking smoke as much DMT as I possibly can till till I go on and pass out. So I had that experience, and since then I don't feel any need to do it. I don't think there's anything more I can take from it,
I've had many people tell me the same thing. They had such a profound breakthrough experience that they're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I had a crazy one in around 2008 or 9 or something like that, and I took a long time off. I didn't do it again till 5 years later, maybe.
Yeah, and it's pretty intense, man. I mean, the ayahuasca is nice because it comes in nice and subtle, and you go through hours of this thing. But DMT is
last time I did DMT,
you feel very anxious when you'd it's almost like you're leaving your body, and then, no, I don't want to. and, you know.
Yeah.
So you get that bit of anxiety.
But once you go,
Once you
feel
go,
okay.
it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. But
Have you done it more than one time in a day? Like multiple times in a night?
No, I just, just blasted it as far as I could go, and that was it.
I've done it several times over the course of a few hours. And, you're more comfortable letting go that way in some sort of a strange way, but it never gets less alien.
Well, we had I'm not going to mention his name. I don't know his name, but we had an experience, me and my friend, a few months ago that I've never seen before. Because usually people take DMT, they're very calm and sit in a chair, and you go off and you might start laughing. But, you don't move much, right? And this guy, he just, freaked out. And it wasn't for 10 minutes, but for half an hour. My friend was a former MMA fighter. He used to fight with Shamrocks. So he knew wrestling techniques, so he had to hold this guy on the floor to stop him from hurting himself, because he was totally freaking out. So I could see the guy was going through something traumatic from the past. So today I messaged him. I was like, "Hey, did you ever find out what was that? Because he said, yeah, it was from his birth."
What?
It was from his birth. When he was born, he had the cord around his neck.
Oh, Jesus.
And he went back and he relived this, and so that had been in the back of his mind all his life. Subconscious has a huge effect on us, but we don't know it's there. So now he opened that box and let it out, and it's gone now,
Wow.
So it can be therapeutic. Yeah. I thought this guy is wow, he's going to be, but when he came back, he was like, "Hey." I'm like, "You good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." I'm like, "Do you know what just happened?" He's like, "No." I said, "Good thing we filmed it then, man. Go home and watch this."
I had a friend who freaked out too. He freaked out. He threw up, took his shirt off, was running around saying a bunch of crazy shit. And then after he came down, we calmed him down. It took 10, 15 minutes. He goes, "Okay, well, obviously I'm a work in progress." I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that
But
statement.
did he know what it was that was troubling him so much?
No. Well, he had a bad childhood, for sure.
Well, everything is most of our shit is from there, right?
Yeah.
From the developing years.
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's, and especially real traumatic ones, abuse, being beaten by his stepdad, and a bunch of fucked up shit that was just haunting him.
But it helps you to come to terms with that, especially the ayahuasca, because it's longer. I felt like the first time I did ayahuasca properly with a shaman, I felt like I was a different person the next day. I felt it was like I'd done 20 years of fucking therapy or something.
Yeah.
And just a lot of stuff I'd worked out in my mind. I could even see other people's point of view on things and that I couldn't see before. And,
that's huge, right? Seeing other people's point of view, because especially a guy like you who's so determined and goal-oriented and just cut out all the bullshit and get it done.
Yeah, it can be a little insensitive to other people's feelings around you, because you're just like, "Whoa, I'm just nothing, keep out my way."
That's a male thing in particular anyway, right? And then add
it's to the
steroids on top of that.
yeah.
And bodybuilding and intensity and competition, and then being the best, arguably the best ever, and just fucking grinding every day.
Well,
You
my
have no
son said
time.
to me a couple of weeks ago, he's like, "Dad, you don't see yourself as other people see you." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I remember when I was a kid, first of all, the size, it was fucking huge, but it's your persona. You might have said to me something very normal, whatever, what are you doing with a dog? Just something normal." And he said, "I'd be like, oh," because just your presence made me feel like that,
Right. That's got to be weird when you're a little tiny kid and your dad's a gorilla.
Yeah, I remember he did he did kickboxing, right? So he got his black belt when he was about 11 or something like that, and that was my thing. I used to take him to kickboxing and pick him up, and he's like, "Dad, can you wait outside?" I'm like, "What do you mean? You don't want me to come in?" And "Can you just wait outside?" I'm like, "You don't want me to come?" It's like, "Yeah, but everyone's freaking out and looking at you." And
Well, it's got to be nice
so
now.
I'm like,
to
"No,
be
I'm fucking coming inside, man."
semi-anonymous in crowds now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unless someone's a hardcore bodybuilding fan.
Well, there's the thing. Not necessarily slow, because of the interviews I did on London Real, and I talked about ayahuasca and DMT and spirituality and reality and all this stuff. I get so many people coming up to me they're not from the gym. I get housewives, young kids. It's almost like, "You're the guy from London Real. You're the guy that." So I get a whole bunch of other people that appreciate what I'm saying, about spirituality, about reality and life, and they're like, fuck, man, what you said that really helped me. And I got so many letters, emails, and stuff. People, you know, like, they just took something away from what I was saying. So, I mean, that's really why I do these interviews. It's just trying to help the whole general vibe and the, you know, put it out there. And there's a whole consciousness awakening, a revolution going on now, and I'm just want to push some dominoes, you know, and like create that effect. And then, you know, if you touch one person, they touch somebody else, and it's like, you know, the butterfly wings flap here, and the other side of the world is a, you know,
yeah, it really,
tsunami or something.
It does seem to be working in that regard, right?
It is the time, man. It's the time. There's so many people that are more aware now than like 20 years ago.
Isn't it kind of like, I mean, there's parallels to bodybuilding, right? That when Arnold first started doing it, there was very little information for hardly, and you guys got to see what they did and build upon that, and more information came out. And now, because of the internet, there's so much information,
almost too much information.
People
now
are aware more of what it's all about. Well, with psychedelics, I mean, 20, 30 years ago, there's so much ignorance and so little understanding. And also so little understanding, especially when it comes to something as extreme as DMT. There's still a giant percentage of our population doesn't even know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, they should all take it, especially the fucking politicians. I like to get those politicians, man, and fucking get them in a room and force them to take DMT, and then see how they're going to behave afterwards.
Yeah.
How they're going to look at the world and treat people after they had that experience. I don't think you can be you know, so self-centered and unfeeling as most of them are after you've had that experience.
I think that any breakthrough psychedelic experience, whether it's psilocybin or LSD or DMT, they're
all pretty much, you know,
ego dissolving,
different road to the same place. You know.
Well, Terence McKenna used to say that DMT is the center of the mandala. The way I describe DMT is it's like mushrooms times 1,000,000 plus aliens.
Yeah.
And that it seems so titanically bizarre that there's like, I've tried to describe it to people, but I always say, look, I'm going to tell.
You can't
I'm
really
gonna,
do it, man.
Yeah, I'm going to give you some bullshit words.
Yeah, you can't really do it because you can't.
There's no way.
We don't have the words
right
to put it into words. You know, you can attempt to. I went to this place. Well, it's not a place, but I don't have the word for it.
The place is everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, and there's colors, there's numbers, there's shapes, and
people.
Things, and there's like
gestures.
Everything is all one fucking thing. And what I noticed is like my breath was connected to it. I don't know how it happened, but I was in the trip and I went like that, and the whole thing moved. I was like, really? Let me try this then. And then the whole thing moved, and then there was music playing, and music was part of the thing as well. Like the thing. I don't even know what to call it. The thing, the place. I don't have a word, you know.
We played a bunch of these shaman Icaros.
Yeah.
And the shaman Icaro, this is the last time I did it. And the shaman Icaros like literally made the DMT images dance.
Yeah.
Like they had figured out a way with these sounds and songs to integrate these beats into DMT trips. And as you would take these trips, these shamans had figured out the right sounds and songs and how to make the trip more intense and sort of guide it in a strange way.
Well, that's what I had with the shaman with the ayahuasca. He comes around and he sings these acaros, and it's like changes tone, and then it goes deeper bass in his chest, and it's like it becomes part of it, you know. And I was even moving involuntarily. My arms was going up, my body was moving, and it's like, I'm not doing this. I don't even know how it's happening. It's like somebody's picking my arms up and moving. I was, you know, started dancing around with this, becoming part of this rhythm.
Wow. I had experience once, one of the first times I ever did DMT, where I saw the difference between negative and positive thinking. Like I started thinking negative, and there was all this like black and dark green and like these threatening shapes and colors. And then something recognized what was going on in my brain, that these shapes and images were connected to negative thinking, and I relaxed, and the shapes kind of like settled down, and then I started thinking positive. Like I heard all these like expressions of love, but like you're hearing it but you're not really hearing it. It's like the thoughts are getting into your head, like someone's trying to say it without using words. And then I started thinking positive, and from those dark images, blossomed, these like beautiful, like geometric flowers and colors and impossibly spectacularly beautiful images. And I was like, oh, and I recognized in my mind there's an actual thing that happens when you think negatively, and an actual, it's not just some sort of an
You affect
abstract
everything.
idea.
You affect the program.
Yes.
You're in a program,
Yeah.
and your thoughts, the program's coming towards you, and your thoughts are going, and it's interacting with the program. You know,
And that's why conflict, like interpersonal conflict between people, can be so negative. It's not just as simple as you and some person getting into an argument.
Yeah.
It's those dark images and those negative forces. It becomes a part of your system.
I had exactly the same thing. So, but it was almost like a tunnel. I was in this tunnel, and it was the same thing. It was like, ugh,
Yeah.
like all these images around and scary and everything. And I was like, instinctively, I knew to be very relaxed.
Yeah.
And I started laughing like, fuck you. You're not even real. You're not even real. And when I said that, it went away, and I just got this thing that came into my head. You've just been in the valley, what's it called? The valley of the shadow of death. It's in the Lord's Prayer, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we should fear no evil, because God's by the side.
Right.
I vaguely remember it from school or something. But I got this thing that you were there, and you're in the valley of the shadow of death, and because you, like, fuck you, were like, oh, it's not even real. It just disappeared, and then I went to somewhere really nice.
Wow. Yeah, I just wonder how much is real. You know, it's such a hippie thing to say. Like, how much is real? I don't know. You know, I've been having these thoughts a lot lately. Like, how much of life do you manifest? How much of life is real? Because it's such a bullshit thing to think. It's such a hippie thing to think. And so many people that say that are so annoying.
Yeah, but scientists are saying the same thing now.
Yeah, well,
Quantum
yeah.
physicists are saying, who was it? I think his name's Professor Gates. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Professor Gates, and he said that they've broken down reality into the smallest level, and it's a computer code.
Yes, I've seen that guy.
Not
I've
only is
seen
a
that guy
computer
get-
code, it's a specific computer code of zeros and ones, and it was invented in the 1940s by somebody.
Yeah, I've seen that guy being interviewed. We actually talked about it with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I tried to get him to sort of break it down and explain. But what it is essentially that when you break reality down to the smallest level, it mimics a self-correcting computer code, not just a computer code, but a computer code that's self-correcting, which is right there. I just said a bunch of noises that I don't even understand.
Yeah.
You know, it's gone beyond my.
But now you're getting spirituality and science.
Right.
It's coming together because the scientists are saying what spiritual masters, well, they're already telling us that we live in an illusion and everything is inside, not outside. They were saying that thousands of years ago.
But
Now
some of it
scientists
is
are
real. Like, you have to work hard or you don't get results.
Yeah.
Right? Like, your hard, fast, pragmatic reality of being the best bodybuilder in the world, it revolves around actual work, real results.
in this reality, in this program.
But also,
You need to do physical stuff, yeah.
Probably there was a lot of mental shit going on there too.
Absolutely.
The work was being done, but also there was probably a lot
thoughts all day. I mean, that's all I
Yeah.
thought about, like
Yeah.
literally all fucking day. So, you know, I had to have the physical goods to make it happen. I could dream about being a basketball player all day. Probably wouldn't help me because I'm not built to be a basketball player. But those thoughts were just going out all the time. And I was a kid in Birmingham, industrial city in England, and I was thinking, I'm going to go to America and I'm going to be a bodybuilder. And everyone around me was like, the fuck you talking about? So yeah, there was those thoughts all the time. So I think it's like a holographic program we're in, but we influence it, we interact with it, with our thoughts. That's kind of where I'm getting at now. you know?
Yes, in some way.
Have you been microdosing at all?
A little bit every now and then. Want to do some right now?
I've never done it.
Oh. Okay.
You know, I'm the CCO of a company that does
a microdosing company.
Yeah, it's
how do they do that if it's all super illegal?
Well, no. So what it is it's a company called Red Light Holland, and it's the truffle.
The truffle.
So it's the top. The mushroom cap is the illegal part.
What?
The stem, which is the truffle, is not illegal.
They're going to jail. Okay, listen to me.
So we're in the process.
All illegal.
We're in the process of getting it all legalized and done the right way, and it'll be available in the Netherlands first, microdosing, and then eventually we're hoping it goes the way of marijuana.
Well, I think it can. Right now, everything's in flux. Everything's all fucked up right now, and particularly in California.
Chappelle wanted me to do mushrooms with him. He said, "You got to do mushrooms." I go, "I've never done it because you got to do it with me and John Mayer." I'm like,
"Whoa."
I'm like, I don't know.
It's heavy.
Yeah, I go.
What if John starts singing?
Yeah, I go. You guys are both professionals at this. I'm not. I don't want to be the guy fucking crying in the corner.
Are you nervous about it?
Yeah, I don't know what it does.
Just do a little bit. Just do a little. Do a little, and you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you build. You just try it out. You do a little.
Should I be alone when I do it?
The first time, you should do it with a friend
who knows how to.
Yeah, I would say, just to take one cap, just something light. Mm-hmm. You'll feel good. The mushrooms want you to like them. And so the first time you do it, they're going to welcome you. They're going to be like, oh, man, this is what you should be doing.
Yep.
We're going to straighten out all your personal problems, all these little weird personality tics that you got, all this strange shit, trouble you keep getting yourself into.
I fucking do, too.
We'll help you. The mushrooms are going to talk to you. We'll help you. And then one day they're going to trick you into taking a large dose, and then you're going to meet the aliens. Then you're going to realize that this dimension that we live in it's connected to neighboring dimensions that are accessible through certain psychedelics. And then once you see that, you can never unsee it. It's regular life loses its seriousness. It loses like 20% of its seriousness. It's still serious, still regular life, but 20% of it goes away forever. Because you know that that's possible. You know that these other worlds exist, and that other people are just out there running through their entire life from birth to death, and they never experience those worlds. And that's weird, because like you're running around. Like I run into people because people know that I've done a lot of psychedelic drugs. So I'll run into people that know, and they've done it too, and they look at you and they'll talk to you like, "Hey man, I did this because of you." Like a buddy of mine said that to me the other day. You gave me the courage to try this psychedelic drug, and I was like, "Oh shit, what was it like?" And he's like,
"What did he take?"
He took DMT, and he was like,
"That's a little bit more advanced, I would imagine."
Mm-hmm. And this guy's he's a bad motherfucker. He's a Navy SEAL, but never had any experience like that. DMT
what was his experience with it?
Well, I mean, I would have to talk to him more in depth, but when everybody does it, what you get when they're describing it is just sort of like trying to use words to describe something where there's no references. It's not, the words don't work. You could kind of tell me what it was like, and I could kind of go, yeah, okay, I kind of see that because I've done it. But if I hadn't done it, there's no way. I have nothing.
It's like somebody trying to explain their dream to you.
Well, that's what's similar in that this stuff, DMT, is actually endogenous. It exists in the human body, and they believe that it comes out in your dreams. They believe that when you're dreaming, your body is releasing some of that stuff. They don't totally understand it, right? It's one of those weird things where they really only found out that mammals created in the pineal gland within the last few years. The Cottonwood Research Foundation, which is connected to Rick Strassman, who wrote that book, DMT, the Spirit Molecule. He ran a bunch of FDA-approved, I believe the only FDA-approved tests on DMT, where they shot it into people in a clinical setting.
How did you consume it?
Freebasing it. You freebase it.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a fiend?
Yeah, like a fiend. It's like a glass bowl connected to like a tube, and you light the bottom of the bowl. The DMT sits inside the bowl.
What is the...
It looks like a white powder,
okay.
like a white, almost yellowish white powder. Depending on which one you take. The 5-methoxy DMT is white, and then the other stuff was more like white with like a little bit of yellow to it. And you take it, it tastes like burnt plastic. It tastes terrible. and you take a big deep breath. You want to take like 3 big inhales. The first time I did it, I only took 1, and I just got to the door. I got like to the door of the DMT dimension. I was like, what is this? This is weird. It was really weird, but I didn't even know what weird was, because like 20 minutes later, I did a second one. And the second one, I took way more. I took like 3 big hits. And then it was almost like you're in a slingshot or a catapult. It was like you could feel the tension, like tick, 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 tick. And all of a sudden, you shot through these colors and lights into like what felt like some new place.
What is your physical doing during all of this?
Just laying there. Yeah. One time recently I did it, like the last time I did it was like a couple of years ago. I opened my eyes in the middle of it. It was very strange. It's like I can almost see reality, but it was all real pixelated, and it was like I was seeing life through like a dirty saran wrap or something. It was just very strange. And then I closed my eyes back and I went. It's the experience of the psychedelic realm is more vivid than regular life, which is real strange, because it doesn't feel like you're on a drug, because you're still you. That's another part of it. It doesn't change your, like when you're drunk, it changes the way you think. Like you think different. This is not that. This is like you think the same way, but you're being confronted with something that's insanely alien. Just alien to everything that you know to be true. And then there's all these things around you that seem to be alive, and they seem to be talking to you and communicating with you. The last time I did it, was a bunch of jokers that were giving me the finger, like jesters. Gestures with, like, you know, they have the little bells.
Yeah.
They were all like shaking and giving me the finger and like spinning around, like going, fuck you. They were mocking me. And the thing that I got from it was like, oh, I take myself too seriously. I need to be mocked. And they were mocking me. And as they were mocking me, I relaxed. And then they like pointed at me like, you get it.
Yeah.
You get it. Because you can get lost. You can take yourself seriously, and you want others to take you. Like, what is the grossest kind of man? Like the kind of man who wants everyone to tremble when he walks into a room, wants, rose petals thrown at his feet. He wants everyone to call him sir.
And be uncomfortable.
Yeah, everyone to be uncomfortable because he's a fucking man.
Yeah.
And that kind of guy responds very poorly to being mocked, right? So I think that it was like letting me know, like, hey, bitch, you got a little of that in you. You need to get that out of your system, especially as a person who's a professional mocker. I'm a mocker of things.
We are stand-up mockers.
There's a lot to be mocked.
How long does it last for?
15 minutes.
That's it?
Yes.
And what about the microdosing?
That's similar. This video that you're playing, it's kind of like that, but way more intense.
I don't know how this. It's a VR experience called ayahuasca that you can. I don't know how exactly it works. I haven't tried it.
Is ayahuasca different?
No, it is and no. But see, the thing about ayahuasca is it lasts longer because it's orally. You take. See, that's probably more similar, and you can get there on ayahuasca and DMT. It's the same thing. It's dimethyltryptamine. It's just when you're taking it with ayahuasca, your body is processing it orally, and you take it with something called an MAO inhibitor. MAO is monoamine oxidase. It's produced by your gut, and it processes DMT naturally that exists in plants. So like there's a lot of plants that have DMT in it. And if you just if you were eating grass, like some sort of like phalaris grass or something like that, it's really rich in DMT. So if you were eating
so you would get high off.
You would get high as fuck. But monoamine oxidase that's produced by your gut, it breaks that stuff down so it's not orally active. So if you took some DMT that you would freebase and just ate it, it wouldn't do anything to you because your gut would break it down. But then if you took it with an MAO inhibitor, preferably the kind of plant-based MAO inhibitor that they use in ayahuasca, because they know, like those MAO inhibitors that people take, like sometimes people take them as a medication. Those can be dangerous. They're much more potent, and there's all sorts of weird side effects. I've heard of people taking pharmaceutical MAO inhibitors, and then they take mushrooms or something else with them, and they really can fuck them up, like real bad.
Yeah, because they're cross-pollinating their fucking drug use.
You're doing all kinds of wacky shit to your brain that your brain is probably not really designed. You're redlining your brain. Your brain may stay together, or you might go fucking shine on, you crazy diamond.
Yeah, go off the deep end there.
Yeah.